So in this week's build video, I've got a quick project for making a dice tower. This would make an excellent Christmas gift. It's not too late to go ahead and knock this one out for this year, 2015, and it took me about an hour and a half to knock this video out. I've got a few gluing tricks that are going to speed up the workflow but still give you good strength long term for this project. And then coming up in the next couple of days, my wife suggested after I made this that we have something that would capture the dice that come out. So I made a tray that also acts as a lid so that when you store it, it's a nice little decorative box that you could store just about anywhere you want. Here's a quick video of the thing working before we get to the project video. I started off this project by raiding my scrap bin to find anything that I felt would meet the kind of rough dimensions I wanted for this project. I was looking to make the box about 8 inches tall, 3 to 3.5 inches wide, and about an inch and a half deep or so. And I'm looking for boards that are about the same thickness and that will allow me to cut them down to make that kind of rough shape. I landed on some curly maple scrap that I had and a nice board of walnut. Once I planed them to the same thickness, I went ahead and ripped a straight edge. Because these were scrap pieces, I knew they had a pretty straight edge on them already, so I just ran them over the table saw. This curly maple is also pretty problematic over a joiner. When it's thin like this, it has a tendency to tear out because parts of that are in grain that are going over the joiner. So the table saw actually gives a cleaner cut. Now I'm going to square up one edge on this walnut board. And confirm my length. I was looking for something that was about 16 inches. This one ended up being 15 5/8, which was okay because I actually needed an opening at the bottom for the dice to roll out. So because the front side is going to be shorter than the back side, this worked out. I just set my width to, or my length to 8 inches and made the cut. The offcut ended up being just the front piece without any additional cutting necessary. And the maple strips down the side are going to be the full length, both of them. I know this looks like the maple might be riding against the fence down there at the end. It is not, so safety police feel confident that I'm not doing something bad here. And guys, I'm trying out a new format. I'm not doing as much fast forward. I'm trying to give you some real-time video. Let me know in the comments. Do you like this format? Do you want more of it? Do you prefer just the fast video, give it all to you fast forward, and show more of the project? Or do you like the cutaways where you can see kind of the more specific steps? So now I'm taking the pieces that I've cut to length and I'm cutting them to their 1.5 inch thickness. In there I was kind of looking to see where the best chatoyance was with the curly maple. That way I have the nicest piece that I'm saving, and I'm cutting off the piece that might have less of the curly figure. Now I've got an extra piece that I've ripped down here, and this is going to make the paddles on the inside that the dice are going to bounce off of. And the way I set that angle is I just kind of laid a board on, or laid a piece of that maple down and kind of eyeballed it. What looks good? I drew that angle and then took that over to the miter saw and set it. And the bottom piece is going to be what kicks them out. And I'm setting or marking the width here. And I am going to sneak up on this cut. And then I know that I want those two 45s to kind of point into each other if you're thinking about the way that the boards are going to be cut, so that it'll sit flat on the bottom and on the back.
Setting my blade to 45 degrees here for the bottom cut. And I'm adjusting the blade, or the fence, so that I cut right on the edge. Having a push block here is pretty important. This, for me, is not the type of cut I'm comfortable pushing through by hand. So I actually cut my reference mark off for the width. I'm going to go ahead and mark that again now that I have a nice sharp edge to mark against. And I'm using a piece of the walnut to make sure that I have those boards exactly on the edge. I want this to be a nice tight fit. You are going to see this. It's at the bottom of the board. It's where the dice come out. So you know, spend a little extra time making sure that that joint's nice and tight and that you sneak up on that fit. Quick note with the miter saw, I don't know if anyone else has noticed, but if you chop straight down, I actually get a little waver in my cut. It's not a 90-degree cut. I found that out, and I actually went back and recut that piece where I pull the saw all the way out, down, and then back in, and that gives me a square cut. Here I am cleaning up the smaller pieces, just using the sandpaper to get me a true square edge there. And it also takes care of some of the chip out. Now for the bottom side, I did just regular wood glue. The downside with that is the dry time with a project like this that's not going to get sat on or stood on. You don't need it to be, you know, as strong as nails. So what I'm actually going to recommend, and I'll show you for the top piece, is that you put about 3 dabs of CA glue or super glue, one in the top, middle, and bottom, and then you spread regular wood glue along the rest of that joint. Then when you put the board down, the super glue is going to hold it tight like clamps while the wood glue dries. This is going to give you all the strength of regular wood glue, but the convenience of super glue and being able to speed the project along, especially if you're trying to make this one for a Christmas present. Anything that can save you a couple hours in the shop waiting on glue to dry is a good thing to do. And I spread glue along the bottom and the back side that makes contact with the wall for these angled pieces. Now that the bottom's dried, I'm going to come back with a chisel, remove any squeeze out. This will give us a nice flat surface to glue to. And I'm switching gears. I'm going to use the method I was talking about earlier. On this left side, I'm actually going a little bit overboard with the CA glue, and you'll see me remember that I had the wood glue to use. And remember, use a thin amount. You don't want a lot of squeeze out here. On the right side, I remembered and kind of switched gears. So this is what I recommend. A few quick drops just to hold it down, then wood glue in between, and this will give you kind of the best of both worlds approach. And I sprayed a little activator on just to speed up the super glue cure time. Now it's time for sanding. This will take care of any inconsistencies in your glue up if the panels aren't perfectly aligned, and it preps it for the finish. Don't forget to sand a little bit on the inside there. Again, that's going to be a pretty visible part of this. Just try to sand with the grain. If you sand against the grain or across the grain, you're going to end up with scratch marks. Now I'm going to wipe everything down and use some spray lacquer. This is a clear satin or semi-gloss finish, which I think gives it a nice appearance. For me, the trick here is lots of light coats and some light sanding in between. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more videos, and coming up next week will be the tray/lid.